To make sure that you start 2025 off strong, today we're going over 3 simple resets. This is the 20-minute Realtor Reset for 2025. 3 simple things to reset you going into the next year, because if you want different results this year than you got last year, you have to do something different, and it starts today. What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 367 of the Massive Agent Podcast. I am your host, Dustin Brohm, and welcome to 2025. The new year is finally here. For most of you, 2024 was a buzzsaw. It was just a crazy year. Some of you had your best year ever, but it was also one of the hardest years ever. It was across the board for most realtors. 2023 was shitty in a lot of ways. 2024 was super challenging. This year, it's time to harvest. You've been planting seeds all year. You've been doing the hard work. You've been consistent. 2025 is the year of harvest. This is the year to really start to see the results from your hard work. Doesn't mean that you can take your foot off the gas. It means the opposite. However, you should absolutely expect to start seeing some major results coming from your efforts this year. I think some good stuff's going to happen economically, and we're all going to benefit. So I think it's going to be an extremely fun year. We'll have our challenges, no doubt, like any other year. But let's start 2025 off right with these 3 simple resets that you need to do. So I'm going to go over resetting your time. Now, it's really like how to look at these things or how to approach these things. So resetting your time, resetting your perspective, and then resetting your pipeline. And I'm going to challenge you here with these 3 things. There's 3 action items that you need to do. They're simple, but if you do them, you will be starting 2025 off with a freaking bang for sure. So before we dive in, I have something super excited to share. For those of you that are committed to doubling down, tripling down, you're committed to social media, to get business, to get clients from social this year, I'm putting together a very, very small private coaching group for those of you that are serious about that commitment. So stick around. I'll tell you about that later on in the episode. Let's talk about the first reset. So resetting your time. All right. So what I mean by that is most of us waste way too much time. We just do. Like even if you feel like you're super productive, there's still a lot of time wasted. So every single one of us can and should do this one thing. So resetting your time, I challenge you to time block much more effectively and really put on your calendar time to do the things that move the needle in your business. When you time block what actually matters, you have less time for the time wasting bullshit. You have less time to get stuck in a TikTok vortex where, an hour and a half later, you're just, oh, okay, well, what was I doing? Trust me, I've done this before. This is not my first rodeo here. So put on your calendar the things that need to get done, the stuff that absolutely moves the needle in your business. So prospecting, content creation, meaningful client interactions. If you listen to one of the last couple episodes, if you're gunning for those 12 conversations per day, which could be text, they could be DMs, they could be actual conversations on the phone, it could be in person, it's probably going to be a mix of those things. And it doesn't have to be a big hour-long conversation each time. But if you're gunning for the 12 conversations a day, the 12 meaningful interactions a day, you have to make time for it. You have to bake that into your calendar, and then in your free time, you can do the other stuff. So you have to get very good with your time. But I'll tell you what, if you don't do those few things that really move the needle, that actually bring business in, that actually produce revenue in your business, then there won't freaking be any. I've worked with thousands of agents now over the years. And so, like one of the common threads that I've seen between those that are really selling the most homes and making the most money and who are the most profitable, they are just willing to do the few boring things every day that actually move the needle. And they stick to it religiously. How? They freaking time block it. They schedule it on their calendar, and no matter what, they schedule around that time. So if they do 2 hours of prospecting phone calls in the morning, like every, realtor trainer man has ever taught anybody, and look, that shit works, right? So I'm not saying it doesn't, but even if you're that traditional, 2 to 3 hours a day of prospecting every morning, if you actually do it, and no matter what, during that 2 to 3 hours, you just don't schedule anything else, no matter what, you're going to sell a ton of homes and be super successful. I've never seen a realtor who sticks with it and really commits to doing, not just for a week, not just for a month, but just forever, right? Just day after day after day. I've never seen a realtor struggling to hit their goals or to pay their bills. I've only seen realtors thriving and selling homes on a constant basis if you do those few things. But it starts with your calendar. So time block the things that move the needle most, and it'll eliminate the time for all the time wasters, right? Number 2, reset your perspective. Stop obsessing over perfection. I believe that the goal should be progress, not getting shit perfect. Because first off, what the hell does perfect even mean? I don't know what that means. I mean, in theory, I know what it means, but your definition of perfect I may look at that and be like, that sucks, and vice versa. So perfect should not be the goal. Progress should. Like getting shit done on a regular basis. I believe done is better than perfect. 100% of the time. So when it comes to social media posting, when it comes to prospecting, launching new campaigns, or working on new projects, delegating, hiring, actual team building, maybe like giving yourself time to like maybe you need to make a move, leave a team, join a team, switch brokerages, whatever. Like, stop over obsessing and over analyzing. Just make a damn decision and move forward. Just make a decision and move forward. Pretty much none of that is irreversible. So if you make a bad decision, you could always reverse course later on. Like, let's say you're like, I need to leave my team, and then you leave your team and you're like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have. Then go back to your team. I mean, and if they won't take you, go to another one, or start your own. Or it's not the end of the world if you make the quote unquote wrong decision. So please stop obsessing over perfection. I don't know what the hell perfection is anyways. Focus on progress. Done is better than perfect. And then I would, as far as switching your perspective or the way you think this year, if you really want to be a business owner, if you really want to have the lifestyle and the income and the freedom that comes with being the CEO of your business and not just like the owner of your job, if you want to truly have a business that operates without you, then you need to delegate. So when you look at your tasks, when you look at all the stuff that has to be done, I want you to think critically each time and ask a question. Okay, first off, does this need to be done? And if the answer is yes, then does it really need to be done by me? I bet you'd find the answer. Sometimes you'll find out that shit doesn't even need to be done. But if it does, it probably doesn't really need to be done by you. There's very few things in a day that have to be done by you no matter what. Most other things you can delegate to somebody else. You can hire someone for, you can outsource them, you could bring somebody in to do that shit for you and to take that work off your plate. So this year, start to question whether or not you should be the one doing those things. And if not, when you start to notice trends like, okay, I don't need to do this group of things, I'm not the one that really has to do these few things, then you can start to find people to hire to do those things for you. And pretty soon you're now acting like a business owner, acting like a CEO, and pretty soon you might just find yourself running a business. So now we're dialing in your strategy for 2025. Speaking of dialing in your strategy, one of the biggest opportunities that agents are sleeping on is using social as a business generating machine. Right? I think most agents know that that's possible, but you're not treating it like it's a client generation machine. You're treating it like you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall, right? So social media, when done right, can be a legit client generation machine month after month after month. And because so few agents know this framework, so few agents are falling short. Like whenever I go do a talk on how to get clients on social, even if you suck, I ask who's actually getting business from social. It's usually like 30% of the room that's actually getting business. I think that's pitiful, and it doesn't have to be that way. So this is why I am launching a small private coaching group that I'm putting together to help you stop wasting time on random posts and start finally using social to consistently bring in new clients month after month after month. Not just get followers, not just get views and likes. None of that shit matters nearly as much as getting actual clients that lead to actual closings and actual commission checks in your business. So this small coaching group that I'm doing, I'm keeping it small because I want time to work with you one-on-one. Like, so you'll get personal attention and auditing and direction from me. It's more than just what to post. We're talking proven frameworks, real examples, automation tools, and effectively using calls to action the right way to get viewers off the fence, raise their hand, into actual clients in your inbox or texting you saying, hey, I need to hire you. So registration is open now. We're kicking off January 10th. So for the few spots that are available, go to massiveagentsociety.com/client, or sorry, massiveagentsociety.com/social, not /client, /social, to learn more and grab your spot before they fill up. That's massiveagentsociety.com/social. And for the first 7 people that join this small coaching group, I'm going to give you a 30-minute coaching session with me for free for the first 7. So go jump on that right now. Let's talk about the third reset required for 2025. Resetting your pipeline, resetting the way you look at building your pipeline. So here's a simple challenge to you. This week, reach out to 10 clients or like those hot prospects in your sphere of influence. Reach out to 10 people this week with no sales pitch. You have no ask whatsoever. Your only goal with these conversations is just to have a meaningful human-to-human conversation. Ask them about their family, like legitimately care, not just this FORM shit. I'm all for the form thing, family, occupation, recreation. I forget what M is, but whatever. Like, that's all great, but you have to actually give a shit. If you don't, then it's just a tactic, and people know if you're using a tactic on them. They know if you're not being genuine. So forget about calls to action. Forget about asking them to, do you want my email newsletter? Do you want a home valuation? Screw all that. Just call to be a human being. If it's someone you sold a house to before, ask, hey, I know you've been there for 5 years. How's it been? Like, have you made any improvements to the home? Have you done any remodels? Like, do you like your neighbors? Has anything cool happened? Did you hear about that new shopping center that's opening down the street or whatever, right? Have just a conversation. Don't ask them for anything. And I think you'd be surprised at how much that'll do for building your pipeline and referrals. So when it's weird with shit like this, when you don't directly go in and ask for certain things, sometimes that's what you get when you just are a normal human being. These people know what you do for a living. They're looking for connection. They're not looking to get beat over the head with some sales pitch or some ask. So reach out to 10 clients or sphere contacts this week. No sales pitch, no ask, and just be human. So do these 3 things this week for the next 7 days and watch how your business changes this year. I think you'd be surprised at how dramatic or how dramatically different your business can be this year when you focus on a few core things differently than you did last year. In order to have, you've all set goals to crush it in 2025, as you should. But to really see that happen, you have to do different shit. You can't do the same old shit that you did in 2024 this year and expect these massive results all of a sudden. It's not just because President Trump is now the president doesn't mean that your listings are going to rain from the sky. You have to do different things, make different choices, make different decisions, take different actions, make different commitments, or at least follow through on the commitments that you make. And here's the best part. You're capable of all of that. This is not super complicated stuff. You are capable of all of this. So remember, for 2025 to truly be different, you need to make different choices. If you're serious about your sales goals, if you're serious about using social to sell more houses this year, if you're serious about doubling your sales, doubling your income, don't miss your chance to join my special, small, private coaching group. I'm going to call it my Clients from Social coaching group. I'm going to give you the exact tools, the exact instruction, one-on-one, to show you how to make it rain clients from social every month. So go to massiveagentsociety.com/ social. I almost screwed this up again. MassiveAgentSociety.com/social to sign up. And the first 7 get a free 30-minute coaching session from me on top of that as well. So to make sure that you actually stay true to your commitments to make 2025 your best freaking year ever, which it could and should be, make the commitment to yourself. Go to MassiveAgentSociety.com/social today. And what the hell was I going to say next? I'm looking for it. I have my, I'm struggling here. So to wrap this up, first off, if there's anyone that needs to hear this, if as you're listening, if you're like, oh, I really need my agent friend or my broker or my team leader to hear this, please share it with them. Help us to reach new agents who have not been exposed to this podcast, who aren't getting this kind of perspective and instruction. Share it with them, please. My goal is to double the listenership. That's a weird way of saying, to double the audience and the reach of this podcast this year. And I need your help to do that. Can't do it by myself. I can't rely on the algorithms. I need your help to please share this with others in the industry who need this podcast, whether it's this particular episode, a previous one, or just the podcast in general. Can I count on you for that, please? And if you're serious about getting around new people, expanding your sphere of those that are just crushing it in real estate and you want to be the next one, BAMX is where it's at. Get access to world-class courses, masterminds, a community of ambitious, hungry agents just like you. Go to nowbam.com and don't forget to use code MASSIVE at checkout when you join BAMX to save some cash. And make sure that you stay ahead of the game with Keeping Current Matters. I think this is one of the biggest no-brainer tools that a realtor should have in your tool belt. KCM, Keeping Current Matters, makes it super simple to know what's happening in the market and to communicate it to your clients. It's not just enough that you know what's happening. You have to communicate it, share your knowledge, be an advisor, right? Then your clients will see you as a professional, as an advisor, someone that they actually need in their lives and not just another door opener. You can try KCM for free. Just go to trykcm.com/BAM and see why so many top agents rely on it already in their business. Those are just 2 tools that I use and trust to make running a real estate business easier, more effective, more streamlined. Don't wait. Get started today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing. We're going to have an amazing 2025 together. This is the first episode of the new year, and I'm freaking stoked about it. Thank you for listening. I'll see you guys next week. Let's freaking go.